Hi, everybody. Welcome back from spring break. I hope everyone is good and safe. Leo and I are good and great. I have lots of videos for you guys about chickens. This is the last unit that we are doing before the AP exam. Um, the College Board, there's so much stuff that they're putting out right now. The exam is still on the day. It's two FRQs. um, you have to upload stuff. They're going to try to do like a trial run beforehand, so that you guys can know how to upload stuff. But we're not getting a huge amount of information. We're getting a lot of information, but there's a lot going on. So they're just, it's kind of a poop show, not gonna lie. So what we're gonna do here is, I posted your on materials for this. I posted the full PowerPoint, the PowerPoint notes, the study guide, and the timeline. So there is a timeline, but I will be releasing things on the day that you have to do them. That's what they want us doing. So I will do that stuff. So we're doing air pollution and acid rain. And ironically enough, if you've seen any of the effects of coronavirus around the world on air pollution, it's the results are absolutely insane. So I think when you guys do your lab, or it'll be something at the end of this unit, I'm going to put together a like a little PowerPoint for you about the air pollution and corona. Okay, broken down to four screencasts. They all have study guide questions that go along with them, like we did last time. Okay, so here we go. So lichens, remember those amazing things, symbiotic relationship between a green algae and a fungus? What they do is they can actually warn of bad air. They absorb it as a source of nourishment. So we can actually track air pollution and historic air pollution through lichens. Kind of cool. So some of them are sensitive to specific air polluting chemicals, like your bottom dwellers lab that you did. And after Chernobyl, more than 70,000 reindeer had to be killed because they ate highly radioactive lichens. There are fires going on right now, actually, in the area around Chernobyl, and they're saying that it's actually mobilizing some of the radiation back into the air from the trees that had absorbed it. All right. So what you're seeing here are the layers of the atmosphere. This is all review. Troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. The sexy men take eggs. Do you remember that horrible acronym? Um, so your troposphere is weather, most of the gases. This is where your weather happens. This is where global climate change is, which is not on the AP exam. Global climate change, we're going to actually do it after the exam. Stratosphere contains our ozone layer that blocks UV radiation. Also, not on the AP exam, ozone in the stratosphere. However, tropospheric ozone will be on it because it is a pollutant. Okay. And then you have your mesosphere and your thermosphere and your exosphere. Those are vocab terms for your vocab quiz, but we're not going into detail with those. Those are just review for you guys. Also a review, your atmosphere is made up of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and then that 1%, those others, your argon, your carbon dioxide, water vapor, trace gases. Okay. And your oxygen gets less as you go up into the layers of the atmosphere. Okay. So air pollution, just like water pollution, it's liquids, gases, solids, but now in the atmosphere that can cause harm to humans, other organisms, or materials. So we have natural sources like volcanoes, pollen. If anybody else's allergies have been insane the past couple weeks, it's because of pollen and most likely tree pollen. You've got storms with wind raised dust. You have forest fires, sea spray, and then natural decay, which is a lot of release of methane. Anthropogenic, from the Greek word anthropo, meaning man, so human induced sources. You have burning of fossil fuels, industry, soil erosion, agriculture, a whole bunch of different types of sources for air pollution. Okay. Stationary sources are one spot: factories, farms, power plants. Mobile sources move around: cars, trains, buses, things like that, airplanes. And then we have primary air pollution, which is emitted directly into the atmosphere in some sort of a harmful form. Okay, nitrogen oxides, carbon oxides, sulfur oxides, um, hydrocarbons, and then different particulates. Okay, and then we have different air toxins like mercury, lead, and chlorine. Secondary air pollution is when two primary air pollutants come together, and it's usually along with sunlight, and they create these new, pollutants, like photochemical oxidants, acid rain, and then your ground level ozone, which is different than the ozone that is in the ozone layer. That's our good ozone. Ground level ozone in the troposphere, bad ozone, respiratory irritant. Okay, key word for air pollution, respiratory irritant. Okay, so here you see primary air pollutants, secondary air pollutants, your stationary, natural, mobile, a car from like, the 70s in there. And then you have suspended particulate matter, soot, lead, asbestos, sea salt, things like that. It reduces visibility by scattering and absorbing the sunlight that comes down. So when there's less air pollution, that's why you can see further. The smaller the particle, the more harmful it is to humans because we breathe it in, it gets into our lungs and it irritates our lungs. Okay. If it's a virus or bacteria in the lungs, it can cause death, like corona. And according to the EPA, SPM, small particulate matter, is responsible for about 60,000 premature deaths in 1 year. Okay, VOCs, volatile organic compounds. Okay, think of the smell that comes off of alcohol, like rubbing alcohol. The smell that comes off of gasoline. Those are volatile organic compounds. Okay, some of these are emitted as unburned gasoline fumes. You have industrial solvents, formaldehyde, vinyl chloride. New car smell, that's a VOC. Okay, any sort of off gassing, most of those are VOCs. Okay, and VOCs are a big component of photochemical smog. All right, so now we're going to go through the different pollutants. You've got lead, big, it's a heavy metal. You guys already know that it's a neurotoxin. Paint, that whole adage of don't eat paint chips, that's because lead paint was a thing and they used to put lead in it. And a huge source of lead in our atmosphere is from leaded fuel. Okay, you put unleaded fuel into your car, but we used to have a lot of leaded fuel that would burn, be emitted into the atmosphere. Rain would come down and it would attach to the lead, and then that's how a lot of lead has gotten into our waterways and into our agriculture and stuff like that. Okay, it accumulates in the body because it is a heavy metal, and kids are especially susceptible to it. Carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide comes from incomplete combustion of carbon-containing materials, like so the hydrocarbons of coal, oil, and natural gas. Also in cigarette smoke, and about 75% or 95% in the city comes from motor vehicles. The big thing with carbon monoxide is that it's called the silent killer because what it does is the carbon monoxide, when you breathe it in, it actually binds to the hemoglobin in your red blood cells. Your red blood cells think that it's getting oxygen. It's the carbon monoxide tricks it. And instead of your blood going through your lungs absorbing oxygen, it actually absorbs carbon monoxide, and your insides don't get oxygenated. And that's what leads to death. Nitrogen oxides, reddish brown irritating gas. This is what gives photochemical smog its lovely orangey brown color. It is the component of photochemical smog. It's a precursor to ozone. This mostly comes from fossil fuel burning in motor vehicles, power and industrial plants. Okay. Lung irritant, it causes damage. It can aggravate asthma. Environmental effects is visibility mostly. And then it can corrode metals, eat away the stone on buildings. It can damage fabrics and stuff like that. You'll see that a lot. Sulfur dioxide mostly is from dirtier coal. and it goes out into the atmosphere. It is the major cause of acid rain. And we've spoken about that before in class. So when you have carbon dioxide and water coming together, it creates carbonic acid. When you have sulfur and water coming together, it creates sulfuric acid. When you have nitrogen oxides coming together with water, it's then nitric acid. Okay. Most of this comes from human sources, which is the burning of coal, but natural sources are from volcanoes and the evaporation of sea spray. Breathing problems for healthy people, restriction of airways for people with asthma. It can cause bronchitis. You can have permanent damage from this. The acid deposition can cause a lot of damage to trees, soils, aquatic life in lakes, and you'll see that in a later slide. And then it can do the same thing with property damage, erode metals, eat away stone buildings, damage paint. Okay. Oh, and that's it. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and answer the study guide questions on the Google Sheets, and I'll see you guys later. How do I stop sharing? Again, I can't figure out how to stop sharing this.